I'm just setting the ground rules for you to know. If it were your manifesto we're discussing, you will get the greatest part of the time.
The weekend after our manifesto, did you place this key?
Yes, you should check what happened.
I watched.
Yeah, you watched.
I never heard you.
You should check what happened.
And I'll actually go and check the time.
You should check what happened.
It's okay, I don't need too much time.
So,
I don't need too much time. It's
right.
Okay.
So, in any case, you are also promising to abolish e-levy. So, that will be a question for you as well. Where are you going to make up? How are you going to make up for it? What do you say to those who say the NDC's manifesto appears to be more responsive
I haven't
to the needs?
I really haven't heard anybody say that apart from the NDC. They have been touting their own, manifesto. Because I'm really yet to hear anybody say that. And it's especially so because really, if you read the manifesto, you realize that they're completely out of touch with the realities of the Ghanaian people.
Completely.
Yes. I mean, you can infer that from even the questions that you legitimately asked. Clearly, this is a group of persons who have sat in a room, put together things that they believe sound like music in the ears of people just for votes. Because if you compare the things they've put in their manifesto against the principles they've been espousing over the years and what they stand for, is in complete contradiction of what they've been telling the Ghanaians.
You are scrapping e-levy, you are scrapping e-levy. That's no contradiction.
Complete contradiction of what they've been preaching, what they have been preaching over the period. This is a group of persons who were in power. In fact, this is a flag bearer who has been president before. Today, his spokesperson tells us that no Ghanaian child should have admission to school and not be able to go to school. But they were in government. He was president for 4 good years and left 100,000 average of Ghanaian children at home. The biggest challenge of Mahama, His Excellency, and the NDC have is the fact that they would have to account for his presidency within the 4-year period. Forget when he was vice president. Within the 4-year period that we gave him an opportunity. Because everything, in fact, everything you look at in the manifesto, you would have heard him mention it either before 2012 or during the 2012 elections. And that is where everybody is concerned. Some say, not just me or you, because you ask very legitimate questions. Millions of Ghanaians are looking at him and saying, where is this man coming from? This is somebody who is all of a sudden talking about how no sick person should be allowed or left to die. The person collapsed the National Health Insurance Scheme. This is somebody and this group of persons who promised us. They basically promised to give us a one-time health premium. Then we voted for them. For 8 years of being in office, they did not even think about the policy. In fact, what some of their leadership told us was the fact that that promise they gave was overambitious. The General Secretary of the NDC today, Fifi Kwete, said that the promise based on which we voted for them was overambitious, and so they could not implement. And this is the same person that has come to us and said, I was president. All the things that I'm seeing today are things that have been in existence in this country. But when you made me president, I didn't do them. Make me president again, and I'll do them for you. Look at this manifesto, Samson. The manifesto is either a recycled promise from his earlier manifesto he presented to us in 2012. When you give us a manifesto, we expect 2 things. Tell us how you're going to implement the manifesto, which timelines you're going to look at it, and if it's going to transcend beyond your 4 years, of course we should be able to say it. Secondly, give us confidence that you are credible and that you actually do what you say you will do. I look at the former president's manifesto for 2012, and I have it here. And I go through this manifesto and ask myself, how is this man expecting that the Ghanaian persons will make him president again? And I have a list of about 280 promises here. Is here. I can list all of them to you, and you can see it here. Out of the 280 promises he made in 2012, before we made him president, he fulfilled only 77 of them. Only 77 of them, Samson. A whooping 68% of the promises the former president made to the people of this country, before we made him president in the past, he did not fulfill. And so what is news? If the same person comes to you 8 years later and starts listing, basically shoplifting things across every space and putting it into a document and listing, what is news about it? You look at some of the things they mentioned, and clearly it tells you why they deliberately sat down for 8 years without putting out their manifesto until Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia put the manifesto. Clearly, places where we say we'll do 1, they say we'll do 2. They simply waited. When we say we'll do 2, they say they will do 3. Places we say we'll do black, they will do white. In some of the instances, they simply went into a manifesto and lifted everything and put into their manifesto. And that is where you see a lot of incoherence in the things that they put out. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is very clear. His manifesto is simply consolidating what it is that we have achieved as a country and fixing what is outstanding. And that is what an upgrade does. Some said, anybody that understands technology, understands reset, will tell you that when you are resetting, you have 2 options. Reset to factory settings, which basically is wiping everything off to 0, or resetting to a particular period, depending on when you backed up. I hope you're following. That is what it is. You are resetting to a particular period, depending on when you backed up. Now, for these guys not to hoodwink us and mislead us, one of the things that is missing, which they need to tell us that we can interrogate correctly, is where are you resetting us to? And clearly when I listen to Sammy, all I hear is they are resetting us to factory settings. Because he made a very important point. He says that when you have a broken system, you wipe everything and start afresh. That is not what Ghana needs. The Ghana today that under your tenure slept in darkness for 4 to 5 years now has power. We don't need to reset our energy sector. The energy sector is thriving. The Ghana today that you left 100,000 children every year on the street now are in school. You don't need to reset the education sector because the children are in school. The Ghana that you left, the poor person's children in colleges of education and nursing, that you said if you're going to lose an elections by simply not restoring the allowances that you will lose, they are now in school. They are receiving their allowances. You don't have to reset that Ghana that we are enjoying now. The Ghana today, where we could not even identify our citizens and take care of them properly, today has a properly synchronized national identification system that is synced to almost every touch point you can think of, and we are ready to leap into the future. It doesn't need a reset. It needs a consolidation and it needs an upgrade. And so when you come and tell the people that I was president before, I denied all of you children from going to senior high school education. But forget the fact that I said I would not implement free senior high school on the whimsical promises of a desperate politician. Forget the fact that I said I will not implement free senior high school. I will not spend 2 billion cedis on free senior high school. Today, I was against free senior high school. I always said that when it comes to free senior high school, some people should pay and others should not pay. All of a sudden, come to university. If you qualify to the university, I will pay for university education for free. And that is the contradiction you sought to put out. You know what is critical about manifesto, Sam said? It is not just you putting things into a document. It is about who is behind it and the credibility of the individual, the sincerity of the individual, the honesty of the individual. God being so good for the people of this country, we've had an opportunity to experience this individual. Of all the candidates who are running for this election, it is only the former president who has been president before. And so we can tell clearly, today we have his scorecard is here as to whether he's a man who sticks to his words, as to whether he's a man who says what he will do based on manifestos. This is the list of his manifestos from 2012, after which we made him president, and this is how much he failed, completely failed to deliver on these promises to the people of this country. Now, Samson, think about this. You leave me at home without education, secondary school, so I drop out. You are saying that if I hustle to go through it, if I struggle to go through it and I come to the university, all of a sudden, you found money to pay for me. Do you know what is happening? And I'll tell you, I'll give you a quick background to the NDC.
Is that not an upgrade of what you have done?
But they said they want to reset. The upgrade is ours, not yours. And that's what we are talking about.
No, you are just saying that doesn't...
No, it doesn't match for you. We believe in possibilities. I actually think that we are going to get to the point where every single student in any tertiary university will be paid for free. Because there is no greater investment as a country than to invest in education and health for your people. I believe in that. And so we speak of upgrade because we believe that free SHS should be kept and should not be reset. And that what you should do at the tertiary level is to make the student loan trust scheme much more accessible to the people when they need it and they can pay for the education. But let me give you this quick background. It is important that the people begin to see into the psyche and the principles of the NDC, and it will settle all this manifesto conversation. The NDC has this record. In the year 2003, when President Kufuor was going to pass the National Health Insurance Scheme, this is what happened. They did exactly what they are doing to the Free Senior High School and the 2024 elections. National Health Insurance Scheme doesn't make sense. We are not there yet. We are not going to allow you to introduce any tax to pay for health insurance. They actually boycott the passage of the National Health Insurance Act in Parliament. Then they left office. Then they left Parliament. Now President Kufuor implements the National Health Insurance Scheme. Fast forward, challenges, difficulties, President Kufuor upgrades it at a point, and that's what upgrades means. At the point he upgrades it becomes national issues, National Health Insurance Card. Now you can use your card anywhere you are, wherever you find yourselves. Then in the year 2008, we are going for an election. The NDC now realizes that, listen, we lost the 2004 elections abysmally because the people of this country hooked onto the National Health Insurance Scheme and are holding it dear to their hearts. We cannot continue to denigrate this policy. So what we want to do now is let's latch onto it and hold onto it and pretend as if we love the National Health Insurance Scheme. So they put everything aside and they did two things. They started calling President Kufuor and his government all manner of names. They are corrupt, they are thieves, they've stolen all the gold from Bank of Ghana, they've stolen President Kufuor is an immoral man, all manner of things. Then they added one thing. Dear people of Ghana, we do not believe in National Health Insurance Scheme. We spoke against it. We said it wasn't possible. Here we are. Vote for us. These people who introduced National Health Insurance Scheme, they don't even know what they are doing. They brought it, but they can't do it like we can. We are going to give you a one-time health insurance premium. Vote against them and vote for us. So that the health insurance that they brought, they are unable to do it well, and we will make it better for you. And then do you know what happened? The people had no choice. They had experienced health insurance. They've seen how much lives it can change and how much lives it can save. Now they feel, well, we need an upgrade of this NHIA. So the NDC, please.
You have gone over that. You have gone over that. That they promised one-time premium, they couldn't do it.
Let me land. The NDC now says they will give us a one-time premium. Let's vote for them. Then they voted for the NDC. And kicked out. No, Samson, let me.
There are a number of things.
Let me land. I'll land.
I can't let you speak without checking the things you're talking about.
But let me land my scenario.
Okay.
Let me land on my scenario. You can ask me the questions. Now, fast forward. They come into office. First tenor. They didn't introduce one-time health premium. The people are clamoring for it. They said, we beg you, give us time. We'll do it in our second.
I said, that's the point you have
made.
No,
I haven't made that point.
You've made it.
I haven't. Let me land. Then the second term comes. Now, 2 months to elections in 2016. They are asked, you promised us national health insurance. Where is it? Then they start saying, it wasn't realistic. It wasn't feasible. The General Secretary spoke. Mutaka spoke. All manner of things about health insurance. But the people had already gotten their hands tied. It was too late for the people of Ghana to roll back the mess we have put ourselves into. Look at the scenario now. Similar scenario. Speak against free education. It is not possible. Leo Kran, the education minister, and the NDC says that if free SHS was possible, Nkrumah would have done it. The Soviet Union would have done it. It is not something that can be done. Mahama denigrates it, speaks against it, insults parents, insults teachers, insults students of Free Senior High School. They pass exams. He calls them thieves and all manner of things. Now we have 6 months to elections. They have realized that even to date, something. If you go to the streets and talk to the people of this country about one of the biggest policies they've experienced in the history of this country, they will mention free SHS. Now they realize that, but for free SHS, they would have had a headway. Now we need to find a way to align ourselves with the free SHS policy. So all of a sudden, they go and sit in a room, put on a sheet of paper, all the things they said against free SHS no longer matter.
So let's do
and then they say that, no, Outland, they say that we are now going to hold on to the free SHS that we said wasn't good and that it was destroying the quality of this country's education. The free SHS, we said that we should not be paying for everybody and that some people should be paying. All of a sudden, we'll keep it and we'll protect it. And then in order for you to even be more happier and vote for us, don't worry. When your children go through the free SHS that we don't believe in, we are going to pay for their fees. Now, the Ghanaian people ask them, but you said that the free SHS, not everybody should pay, and that there are some rich people who can pay. Why don't you do it at the university? Don't worry. The university there will pay for everybody. But the free senior high school level, we think that some people should pay. The level of dishonesty, the level of insincerity, the lack of credibility and integrity on the part of the leader is what is going to determine the success of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia or former President Mahmoud.
Now let's check you on a few things. You say that they have copied your manifesto, and in some points it is lifting and simply pasting.
Some of them.
Right. Show us. a couple of that.
Oh, for example, we mentioned from the get-go, we mentioned that we're going to ensure that every single person with disability in this country go to tertiary education for free. We mentioned, you remember we mentioned? We mentioned from the get-go, between former President Mahama and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the one that has consistently been speaking about consolidating the free senior high school and ensuring that it stays is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. All this while, what former President Mahama has been telling us that he will do is to segment the free senior high school policy. That is what he's been saying. What's changed all of a sudden? How is he all of a sudden saying exactly what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is
Has he been talking about a revision or a segmentation?
But he said, at the moment, he's no longer even talking about the revision.
No, I'm asking, has he been talking about a review? Which word?
He spoke about segmentation. There are two things. And that is one of the reasons why, even at some point, we were saying that whenever he mentions review, it means cancellation. Because he spoke, he gave instances of what he's going to do before he brought in the word review. He said that he doesn't believe every Ghanaian should pay. That was the first thing he said. Secondly, he said that he doesn't even think that if he has 2 billion cedis, you should put all into free senior high school.
So you still do not believe that the NDC government started free SHS on a gradualist approach? You still don't believe that?
Don't. It's not like I don't believe. They didn't start free seniors. What is free? Some say, do you pay for something that is free? You are a lawyer. Do you pay for something that is free? Can you tell me any instance in this country until 2017 where any child went to secondary education without paying fees? One. How do you call something that I'm paying for free? So they never introduced anything free, and I'm not surprised you are stuck.
So we are checking.
Okay,
we are checking a few things.
Yeah, check for me.
You say they have copied your what? Your policy for persons with disabilities?
Yes.
What's the proof that it is a copy from you?
Until Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia spoke about persons with disability in this election.
When?
Oh, during our regional tour. I mean, I could check the date, but during our regional tour. So definitely after February 7th. Did you ever hear John Mahama speak about this within this election period?
So you're saying you spoke about it publicly
within
first.
This election period.
You spoke about it?
Within this election period.
You spoke about it first?
Yes, within this election period.
Okay.
Don't forget, already there is a pilot rollout of the free tertiary education for the persons with disability. Already. There is, and you can call the PWD associations. Already there's a partial rollout. I went to Kwapman school, so I know a lot when it comes to PWD.
Yeah, so when you are seeking the opportunity to come into government, there will be policies already.
Yes.
And what you do
is
to seek to improve those policies.
Absolutely.
So,
and the guys are preaching research.
No, wait. What is copy?
Copy is when you don't come up with anything creative until you realize that your opponent is speaking about it and you think it's going to be beneficial to you, then you pick it.
Do you have in your manifesto free education, tertiary education for persons with disability?
Yes, it's here. It's in our manifesto. Verbatim.
In your manifesto, how do you say you intend to implement it?
Every person with disability that qualifies to go to tertiary education will be paid for free to pursue their tertiary education in Ghana.
Right. To the extent that someone also has that, it means they copied from you.
But if I prepare this document, or if I stand somewhere and say something, and you say the next day, is it not that easy for me to settle on the fact that you copied?
They said they will scrap e-levy. You say you will scrap e-levy.
Yeah.
Did you copy from them?
Maybe. It is possible. Why not? It is possible. If you say it before me and I say it afterwards, it is possible.
So you are copying from them?
Yes, it is possible.
Fair enough.
The principle is the same.
What else can you point to?
For example, so upgrade the surface of our football pitches to meet the highest international standard. They pick it. Under sports and sports, they picked it. Directly from our manifesto. You know, there's a reason why the NDC waited 8 years without putting out a manifesto.
Why do you you said 8 years earlier. I thought that was a slip.
No, it's not.
Why do you say 8 years?
But you have 8 years in opposition as opposition leader. You are elected 1.5 years before your opponent, and you wait. Your opponent announces the date for his manifesto. Then the next day you announce yours. What are you intending to do?
So what do we make of what you said, that most of what
I can
they
give
have,
you more.
most of what they have in the
more,
manifesto
Something he's done
is
exactly
recycled.
20 minutes like I did. Exactly 20 minutes.
No, he hasn't yet.
No, he started 10
You
Wait,
like
wait.
that thing too
Yeah.
much. You spoke all
Yeah.
this while I didn't.
Correct.
Let's
No.
Just pointing that out.
Let's not argue
You like
about the
that.
time.
You like
I spoke about the time, but unfortunately,
Exactly the same.
you have done an equal time. It's fine.
I'm sorry, I mean-
No, let's do it this way. Now, you guys, I lost my thought.
Because you won't lose
What
it.
was I going to? No,
You were asking
because of your
the list
intervention.
of copying. Is here? I'll show you plenty.
No, wait. Because if you actually had to play it that way, then it will mean that none of you will have an original manifesto if we go back to when you began manifestos.
See, mindset and intentions.
Because you see the similarities
So let me-
in most of your
so let me-
manifestos.
let me-
No, I was going to that question. Here's the question. You said most of what they have is recycled
Yes.
from 2012, 2016,
Most.
2020.
Yeah, easy. I have the list. I can
Okay, so if most of what they have is recycled from their previous manifestos,
most.
where
So
that,
most. But I'll give you examples of the ones they copied.
okay,
So it's here. I'll give you a tall list. There's plenty. It's here. I have it here. Plenty. I mean, when
They-
it comes
they
to integrate
said-
scholarship
they
database across,
said they would train 1 million youth in coding and programming. What does your manifesto
we
say?
train 1 million youth in digital.
What exactly is the
Coding
difference?
is a subset of the digital systems. Coding
Okay.
is one.
So did you copy this from
No,
them?
they are not the same.
Okay.
They are not the same. They
right.
are doing just one small aspect of it. We are doing a broader. They are not the same.
If you check the detail, it's not
No,
exactly
it's not
the same.
details. It's not the same. It's not an issue of. There's a complete difference
It's coding
in digital
and
skills.
programming.
Digital skills
Okay.
is broader than coding. Coding is just one aspect of digital skills.
All right. They spoke about a 10 billion investment in infrastructure, which is what they had promised earlier. So you are right to say they have gone back to their manifesto to pick things.
So there are three things happening in the NDC manifesto. There are things that they promised they would do in 2012, for which we made former President Mahama president, which he didn't do. And that's one of the points I keep making, that he has a responsibility, owes the people of this country, to come and tell us why we gave him an opportunity to be president to do specific things. He failed to do, and he's back to tell us the same things he told us. That's one. Number two, the second bit also is that there are things that he contradicted himself on. Things he doesn't believe in. Things that over the period everybody in this country knows that he doesn't believe in. One of which is the free senior high school that he never believed in. That all of a sudden he is bringing those things back to us.
So when you speak about the
you didn't let me mention the
NHIS,
thing.
no, it's okay. When you mention the NHIS, that you introduced it and they came and did, Kufuor introduced it, you recall that the facts remain that Kufuor had a mutual scheme for districts. It was not national. It was actually President Mills who made it a national, policy.
So that's false. That's false. Kufuor actually made national health insurance before he left office in 2008. You could use your national health insurance card, which you got from Tamale, to access health in the Kiapim North. And I have a copy of the card here. What actually Atamils did, Professor Atamils did, was to enact the legislation which President Kufuor started in 2008 to back that national system that he introduced. But after the time President Kufuor left office, I have a copy of the national health insurance card here, which was a national health insurance card and not a mutual health insurance. So that's false.
So why did you discount what President Mills had to do and to say the NDC had no role to play?
Why did
in
I say the
national
NDC
insurance?
had no? Did you ever hear me say that? I said
No, the role
NDC
you spoke about the
not.
NDC was just opposition.
Something. I am very careful when I choose my words.
I remember exactly what you said,
let me
and I
tell you.
actually wrote some of them down.
Read it.
Okay?
Read it.
So you said they opposed it,
Yes.
and they boycotted Parliament,
Absolutely.
and then came later to promise one-time premium
Yes.
and reneged.
Yes. Yes.
That's the contribution NDC has made on NHIS.
No.
As far as what you said was concerned.
Why are you picking words? What I said was that, and it's a fact, the NDC fought against the national insurance scheme. Is that not a fact? They don't not boycott Parliament. Is that not a fact? Hold on. Is that not a fact?
What was the
boycott?
basis for
Did
the
they not-
boycott?
Hold on.
Was the basis against the scheme or against the structure in terms of limiting it to, as it were, I remember the argument because I was here. I remember the argument. It was not a boycott on the basis that the scheme was wrong.
It was what?
It was the rollout in terms of using the workers' support for it.
You are here, and we are always discussing Ghana independence now, or independence what? What's the other one? In
Shortest possible
time. And we have people, and I'm sure you share the view, I know your views. You probably share the views that Nkrumah is the one who gave us independence because he used a certain approach than the other approach. That's the only difference.
You don't know my view.
No, I know. But
you don't know my view. You can't know.
Okay.
Are you a diviner?
I think I know. So here you are telling me that there is a government that is coming to pass national health insurance scheme for the people. Another party opposes it. And you are telling me that, they oppose the passage of the law and the introduction of the policy on a certain principle, so it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that the law that enacted national health insurance scheme was opposed by the NDC. They spoke against it, they fought against national health insurance scheme, they stood against it, only for them to come back later and promise us a one-time premium.
You spoke about energy.
What I put out is
you spoke about energy.
Yes.
You spoke about energy and how they plunged us into doomsday and so on. And they solved that problem before they got out of office.
Which problem did they solve? Again, it is another falsehood that we allowed to fester for a very long time.
Tell us what the NPP has done to the energy situation since you came into office.
We found money in the economy to buy fuel. That's the only thing. That is all.
So you have not added 1 megawatt to
we have added more than 1 megawatt. But that is not even the case. Because you see, the energy crisis, ever since we were in position, we've always insisted, and you are aware, our position on the energy crisis was that it was a money problem. Never did the MPP ever stand anywhere to say that our energy crisis was capacity. Because indeed, at some point, we even had excess capacity.
But you cannot argue that they didn't solve it.
No, but they didn't.
They did.
How? If you buy a car,
they did, and you came and said, we even have excess.
No. Samson, listen. You borrow and take plants on credit, which is the easiest thing anybody can do.
All right.
And then, let me answer. Don't say all right. Then
I need to go to Theo Champong. I'll come to you. Wait.
Then you come and put the plants down.
No, I'll come to you.
He can give you 1 hour. It doesn't matter. Then you come and put the plants down. Then your economy is broke. You cannot pay public sector workers. You cannot pay allowances of the
last bit you were talking about
was... Hold on. And so you are unable to find money to power the plants that you didn't spend any money on, you took on credit.
The bit about your emphasis on credibility, as in Mahama against Dr. Bawumia.
Yeah.
You think through it.
Oh, yes.
What are Ghanaians telling you now?
Oh, it's here. The evidence is here.
Ghanaians are telling you that it was $1 to 4 cedis. Today, it is 16 cedis or more to $1. And Bawumia took the high,
absolutely
stand and spoke about how the NDC was incompetent in managing the economy.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to credibility, they will tell you that they have better credibility.
No.
As we speak, Kojo Nkrumah says you have fulfilled 70% of your manifesto.
Even
Dr. Bawumia says 80% of your manifesto. We don't know which one to take.
It is 80.
We don't even know how to prove that.
But they'll do it yourself. But that should be your job. Something that should be your job. Why should that be my job? I have done it. I've shown it to you. Why should I be the one proving anything to you? Take it. The manifesto is there. It's public document, line by line, like I've done it for the NDC here. You can see I've done it for the NDC. So it's easy for me to run the NDC's percentage. I didn't wait for the NDC to do it for me. Okay. So do it yourself. But let me respond to your query about the economy and the dollar. Samson, that is basically why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is speaking of an upgrade. Never in the lives of any country have we had everything all rosy. And that is why today the Ghanaian people are looking at the former President Mahama, the Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and saying, what are the things that we believe are right in our economy today? For which reason we need to protect? And what are the things that are left? And that is why I don't want us to hide this conversation under sentiment, but deal with the fact.
Okay.
What are the challenges? What are the difficulties? We have major challenges with the macroeconomic indicators. Inflation went all the way to 54%. Dollar is still, having an issue with our CD and all of that. So what is the proposition of the manifestos of the two leaders in dealing with these specific issues? And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's solution is simple. We need to begin to do two critical things. Let's continue to boost our industrial base, which they eroded, sold 300 of our factories, and make sure that we are producing a lot more within this country. Let's boost these industries by ensuring that we move the country away from cash and carry to a credit system where we can increase demand, for which reason these industries will have a reason to produce more, and as they produce, they employ.
Right.
But most importantly, shall we harness on our natural minerals resources, the gold, to back our currency to strengthen it going into the future?
Thank you.
So nobody
Thank
is
you.
saying
So
that
it's okay,
we
hold
have
on.
not encountered challenges.
Thank you. Hold on for
what
me.
we are